Okay, so um, we are designing a custom interface. It suggests we look at the CD and DVD classes, and we're adding fields and methods by extending a base class and implementing um, our new created interface. Okay, so it gives us nice comments here. Um,
Why are the comments green?
I think probably this to-do makes them green.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. That's actually I didn't know that. That's helpful. I've definitely used like to do before, but in VS Code it doesn't do that. I'm sure there's an extension you could
Right.
get to do that, but
That's cool.
makes it stand out a little better. Okay, so we can so um, it gives us some suggestions. Consider generic behaviors of the both CDs and DVDs. They both spin. They both store data. Data gets written to the disk by using a laser. The data on the disk can be read by using a laser. Once loaded, they both report information like name, capacity, contents, and disk type. And then we want to consider class-specific behavior and data. So let's see. So what would you guys say are some differences between CDs and DVDs that we could note?
Like
Data capacity.
yeah, I was gonna say capacity.
The
Okay.
one big difference.
I mean, I don't know how like nitty gritty, but isn't like the bit rate like higher on DVDs as well?
Probably the maximum probably is, yeah. I think you need different lasers to read either. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it
Between the discs, I guess. I guess there's a
mentioned
difference
that.
between the readers.
Well, you remember back in the day, like CD burners, and
Yeah.
like I don't know if you like you remember, like I don't know if uh you ever dealt with that, but like I remember I must have been in like third and fourth grade, and we carpooled with this family in our neighborhood, and um, one of the kids was like a little older, and he was like really into like making like mixtapes and like pirating games and burning them.
Very
It's
relatable.
like
Very relatable.
it was like before like people were like before they started like building in. Well, number one, back when they actually used CDs and DVDs, and then also like before like they started building CD and DVD burners into every like desktop. So he went and bought like a DVD burner, CD burner, and it was like, oh, like he was pretty
Right.
popular. He gave me a pirated copy of Need for Speed: Hot Pursuit.
Classic.
Computer game. So that was cool. So yeah, okay. So basically, different. Um,
But I think now like a DVD burner would work on a CD is what I was saying. But I don't think a CD burner works for DVDs.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like so. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it was like I remember back in the day. It was like they started putting CD burners in like desktops before they
Right.
started putting like DVD burners
DVD.
to do video.
Yeah.
You know. So
But do DVD burners just have like two lasers, or is like like the DVD laser just cross compatible where the CD laser wasn't? I don't
I
know.
think I looked into this once, and the at least in terms of CD and DVD, the one laser could like adjust its parameters to be able to switch between them. But then when they
Right.
added Blu-ray on top of that, they physically needed like another diode or whatever.
so yeah, it probably has to do with like the the dimension of like the burn. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
because
The grooves essentially.
3D data basically, you have audio and you have picture. So yeah, you probably have to have like a more precision laser.
That
So
makes that does make sense.
so that therefore you're gonna have less I don't know, less detail.
There's not too many differences. This is a weird thing to
Yeah,
compare and
yeah, really.
contrast because they're not that different.
Yeah, they're very similar.
I think another main difference though is that like what a CD holds versus what a DVD holds. Like a CD is like audio and program files, but a DVD also has video. I think that's the main difference and why the capacity differences are so significant.
Well, can CDs not have video? Because there's lots of video games that were on
Those are
CDs.
I'm pretty sure
No,
those are
like
DVDs.
I think they could hold it. There was just no standard to play back video from CDs. Like that didn't become discs for video didn't become popular till DVD. But I think a CD you could burn videos onto a CD, but other than a computer.
you have to buy like certain types, like you couldn't just buy any CD and burn a DVD on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's true.
But
Yeah,
you can do the opposite. Like you could buy like a blank DVD and you could burn like music on it.
Well, yeah, when I messed up, I like put Windows like on a DVD or something, and I bought non-rewritable DVDs. So I was like trying to like switch the version of Windows on my Windows disk, and I just deleted it and like I didn't get the space back, and I was like, what is happening? Like, so, but but there are rewritable DVDs. Are you able? Are there not like are CDs non-rewritable or are all CDs?
Rewritable CDs too. There's definitely
the
CDs.
They're the same. I'm convinced.
Oh, in middle school in shop class, we built like a CD shredder back before I think paper shredders had the little slot for a CD. And we basically just took like a dentist drill and disassembled it, and you would basically put the little CD and like we encased it in plexiglass. You would just put the little CD on the little thing we put on top of the dentist drill, and it would spin so fast that it would just shatter. It was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was rad.
That's an incredibly like of the time project.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be like building like a jewel shredder.
That's very funny.
Hey, jewels are gonna stick around because they have nicotine, and nicotine is addictive.
Yeah, for sure. But I bet we're on to the next device soon that delivers nicotine.
Yeah.
Jules might already be old hat for these.
I think Puff
Zoomers.
Bar, post that weird Trump ruling that like semi-banned the flavor ones.
Yeah.
people will be injecting nicotine here real soon.
Yeah, intravenous nicotine. Although, I mean, that's more or less a nicotine patch.
We should do it. We
if
should
you ain't
think.
mainline and you ain't trying.
Yeah, in between your toes.
What if they had nicotine eye drops?
Unless you're mainlining straight in your vein, like you're soft.
Yeah. Don't even come to fourth period.
You weak.
If you don't have track marks, you're not fucking coming to my party.
Oof.
No, that's the joke about like Gen Z, like, because all these weird like viral fads that like get popular, even though like only like 2 people do it, suddenly it means like everyone a certain age does it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Every generation has their fads, though. The only difference is social media allowing it to propagate faster.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, definitely. All right. So let's see. Um,
Transfer rate, if you need another one.
what's that?
Transfer rate, if you need another.
Okay, yeah. So transfer rate would be slower for a CD. Right? Transfer rate. Slower. So it's kind of like a DVD is like built onto a CD. You know what I mean? Like a DVD has all the features of a CD,
Right.
but a CD does not have all the features of a DVD. It's kind of
Right.
like
It's the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 1.
right. It's kind of like the how I was talking about the Chromium browser. Like Chrome is based on it's built on the Chromium browser, but Chromium browser doesn't have all the features of Chrome. So,
Yeah. I feel like, so we have like the audio data one, but like, I guess you can technically put video on CDs. It's just really inefficient and you have to like compress it differently. So I don't know how accurate it is.
yeah, you
No.
could put, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you could put like an audio or a video like file basically, but like you wouldn't be able to play it in the same way in real time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like actually by spinning it, like you'd have to download like you could spin it and get the file, download it onto the computer, and then play it, but you couldn't read it in real time with the laser. That makes sense.
Plus, it holds way less data, so a video can fill it up real quick, depending on whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you ever look at like the Ring, and compare the Ring, there's like you can't even like barely see the Ring on a CD, it's like so small. And then the DVD, you can kind of see it like that little, off, the little off-white sort of mark circling around it. It's a lot bigger. So let's see. So we want to decide. So okay, we went over the. We consider the generic behaviors.
Their names are different.
Got him.
God.
They both end in D though.
True.
Similarity.
I think the D in CD just stands for DVD.
Ugh.
Okay, so well, what's another generic behavior other than these?
You could
Midnight
throw-
snacks.
Too much of a stretch. They both can be rewritable. I don't know if that counts as generic because it's not a given.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Data gets written to the disk. Be read. Yeah. So both. Both can be rewritable or read only. So, okay, I think we have like enough to work with there. So,
So this is a fun fact I just found out while reading about this. Apparently, if you remove the adhesive labels on a CD, you can damage the metal layer. But if you remove it on a DVD, you can cause an imbalance in spin. So it has different effects.
That is wild.
okay, so not belong. Know that information like storage capacity does not belong on this list since it describes a property field rather than a behavior method. So that's for generic behavior. So, okay. So behaviors will make into methods. So let's think about fields. So one thing they pointed out is so what are some different fields we want to make? So we have, oops. So transfer rate could be one. Um, capacity. Um, data type held, maybe. So basically, you know, the base class can be CD, right?
Oh, because looking at it as like the DVD is just CD 2.0. So anything that a CD can do, a DVD can do. It just does it better plus more, basically, or but like that.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's what it's I think that's what it's getting at. So yeah, basically we can um, make these generic fields in CD, and all those are going to be used in DVD. But we might want to add one or two to DVD, and obviously the methods will be different as well. So some might be the same though. So let's see. So it's actually like this is like a partner activity. So that's why I'm trying to plan it out pretty well. So because that's really what you should do. Um,
No, I think it's good because I feel like uh, if you don't learn it doing the planning way and you go and do like an actual project or like you're at a job for the first time, right?
yeah.
And you don't plan it, you end up in a really bad situation.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And then you're scrambling to like fix your mistakes once you realize what you did. So, let's see. For the behaviors, you and your partner sorted, decides which ones belong in the interface. Write down details about how these behaviors differ for CDs and DVDs. So I think it actually wants us to, make like a third, um, yeah, I think we should make like a third generic class. Um, Does it say that? I think it says that, doesn't it? Yeah. So it says create an abstract base disk class and declare field used by both CD and DVD. So should probably put a lot of this planning notes in there. New Java class base disk. Okay. Decide which ones belong in the interface, write down details about how these behaviors differ for CDs and DVDs. So fields to make. Our fields are in this base class, right? Yep, okay. So we did this. This guy's just thinking about how a class should override the methods, how each class should override the methods. So these can basically go in here in our base class, right? So so which behaviors do you guys think belong in the interface? Any ideas?
Spinning, CD spinning.
Okay. Okay, so how do those differ for CDs and DVDs? Basically, I believe a DVD spins faster, right?
I want to say yes. I don't know exactly though, but they are
Oh,
different.
I would think, yeah. Well, we can look it up.
I remember when burning them, they would spin slower because like a CD, you could burn it at like 48x or whatever, but DVDs topped out at like 16 or something. But reading them, probably I think they would spin faster.
Okay, so yeah, that could be two different properties probably. So a DVD, um,
Spin while read, spin while write.
Yeah,
DVD
so
hold 7 times more information and spin 3 times faster than a
yeah.
CD.
Makes sense.
So spinning. Um, what else do you guys think? Oh yeah, you mentioned it. So a good one would be reading, because sorry. Uh, so spinning and I guess kind of goes along with spinning, right? But reading the data, I suppose. Um, in that you basically need like all sorts of different properties of you need different programs to read it, you need different, equipment to read it. So and let's see.
Well, if we're doing reading, can we also do like storing the data onto the disk, like adding to it?
Sure, yeah. Um, reading, and I guess we can Use
Writing.
maybe, or
Writing.
what's that?
Writing.
Right. Oh yeah, writing. That's good. Yeah, because that's that's what it's called. Okay, so spinning, reading, writing. I think that's I think that's good. I think that's and so this is going to go in the interface. Um, and then what are some differences? So um, mhm. DVDs. DVD offers more data to read, more kind of goes along with what we said. Oops. And reading. And writing. So um, So for our so for our base disk class, which behaviors, when we kind of already decided that, these generic behaviors are basically going to go in this base disk class. So we can make this an abstract class. Okay. So, um,
Do you do a lot of object-oriented programming for your job, or is it mainly like JavaScript?
um, so, mm, so for a while, not so much, but what I started doing, I started making like a couple WordPress plugins in PHP, and so I started using like object-oriented PHP for plugins because generally it seems like the plugins are people are making them object-oriented, and everything's kind of like moving towards um, doing kind of like an object-oriented plugin setup. You have like multiple plugins, where as it used to be with WordPress, like people used to design like themes, WordPress themes that were basically the site would rely like heavily on the theme, and that was more and it used to be like recommended to design it in more of a functional programming approach, or yeah, functional, right? Yeah. Um, but now I'm like it's moving more and more towards basically breaking things down into little pieces into plugins, and yeah, focusing on object oriented. But yeah, that's kind of how it's been going lately. But yeah, I mean, I don't do too much object oriented JavaScript right now in my job. We had a few projects that I guess would be somewhat object oriented, um, but yeah, a lot of it's just functional, and it definitely starting out it was really just all functional stuff. I think that's a term, right? It's either functional or I'm trying to think of the word. Procedural, is that what it is? Um,
Procedural.
I feel like I read procedural somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to think of what it's called. Let me see. Alternative. It's basically like, you know, this happens, then this happens.
Yeah, it looks like it's procedural versus OOP or like functional.
Yeah. So Functional is more, um,
JK, I think they're all three different things.
yeah, they're three different things. Functional is like more, I think of a, it's more of a, let's see. Yeah, so yeah. So here's what someone said. So yeah, basically, before I was doing a lot of functional. That's kind of how these WordPress themes were designed. You know, like um, uh, you kind of just adding new operations on existing things. Da da da. Object oriented is good when you have a fixed set of operations. So how things are moving in WordPress, like basically when people relied on themes to do everything, um, or a majority of things, you kind of had to do it functional because you just kept adding on to things. So it kind of, but it kind of became looking at a lot of the people's code that wrote in this way and that I kind of had to add to it's hard to organize in your brain unless you created it, and it ends up being like these really long files that are sort of hard to parse. So, and the problem with having like one large file that does all kinds of stuff is like, it's hard to find errors. There's just a lot of things that can go wrong, when you update things. It's kind of a mess. But how it's kind of moving now is not really relying on themes at all. Just the themes basically are just pointing to um, either like components within the theme within their theme, or relying on certain plugins that go with the theme. And these plugins, like it says, object oriented programmings are good when you have a fixed set of operations. So you have multiple plugins. The plugins do a fixed set of operations on certain things, if that makes any sense. So yeah,
that makes
that's how I've seen it evolve. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, um, it's definitely changed, I would say. It really, at least WordPress, I mean, but WordPress is probably like a little behind like certain other aspects of programming as far as like how things, how developers and things implement things in WordPress. Maybe a little behind, like say, JavaScript programming or whatever, just because, or Java program, just because like you're not doing the same things in WordPress as you are in a C# program or a Java program. Although I think over time people really rely heavy on WordPress. Like, you can have an e-commerce site all in WordPress if you want. But yeah. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so um, so let's see.
Mm.
But yeah, I'd say like object oriented is, if you really like get a good understanding of object oriented and you know build some projects, you know, really utilizing object oriented program to like you know, the full extent, then that's definitely going to make you more marketable for a job, I would say, definitely. Um,
So you're saying we have to pick, if we're picking between one to focus on, probably focus more on Java than JavaScript, like for a project, for instance, right?
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you could either focus on Java or you can like, you know, I mean, you can code JavaScript in object-oriented way, you know, but as far as like what we're learning, yeah, probably focus on Java because, you know, the back end is basically the object-oriented part, and then you can, you know, just use JavaScript to make it pretty basically. Although, I mean, I guess, you know, with TypeScript and everything, you can kind of, but yeah, as far as like what we went over, because they're going way more into depth with object-oriented programming with Java versus what we went over in JavaScript, just Angular, you know?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It seems like there's a lot more to Java that we've gone over than JavaScript.
Yeah, like if they, I mean, they could have like went the node route, and then you can get really into object-oriented because all, I mean, all the tools are there to make object-oriented, like really object-oriented programs with JavaScript as well, but that's just not what, you know, they're focusing on in this course. So we both store data. So um,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna step away for a bit.
okay. Create a method. Okay. And what's this?
All right, I'm back.
Maybe.
Hey, Daniel, my dinner has arrived and I have got to go.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, no one has to stay. It's all good.
So, but you're just like, so this is all just prep work to like go through each to-do method, right? And basically as like a checkbox system and just, or would you just do, would you just set up the to-do list and go through them like one by one? Is that how you would?
Um, yeah, so like, so we know like this stuff goes right in this is all done in this file here. Then down further in the directions, it says code the interface. So we have to create the interface file. So new and they want us to call it optical disk. Oh, interface. Optical. Okay, so, and then, so we can take this stuff we wrote and make note to put it in here. And then this stuff, what have I done? The fields need to be properties of CD. So this kind of, we already did that. And then this stuff is going to be done in both these. So kind of keep that there as a reminder. So now we kind of have a bunch of things to do. So now it's pretty well planned out because so basically we follow this to make methods to overwrite these base methods. So we could do so we can think about
So would like transfer rate, would that be good to be an interface since it's different between the two then?
So I'm thinking this is something we override. So we can override the spin disk method, right? So override spin method to indicate, faster to indicate transfer rate faster than CD. This capacity will be more than CD. So um,
One question we're talking about, like the implement and interface, just make sure I'm understanding it correctly. So say we have the CD class, right? Or
right.
no, we're using, which one are we using as the base?
Base disk.
Okay, say we're using base disk, right? And base disk implements an interface, whatever happens to be, right? If another class extends base disk, well, it will get the interface functionality because it was implemented in base disk, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the methods it would have gotten from interface, from the interface, it would carry over.
Yeah. Well.
You'd have to like update them, of course. But.
Yeah. 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 So. Yeah. So like. Yeah. If you're using. Um. Yeah. So you're Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Um. So yeah. Yeah. You can. Yeah. You can use them in if you're yeah, implementing them, and then the base disk is using it, then they can be used in the other CD.
Child classes.
Right, right.
Okay.
The yeah, child classes. So I'm just gonna do one more. So I think that's like a good base. So I will push this up. I don't know what I know I didn't actually code anything out, but I think we have like a good, base to work with. Does anyone have any questions about anything we went over?
Nope.